Hi, good morning, Murray. How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Firstly, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with us. First off, we here at Shares in Value and East Coast Research, we've actually been uranium bulls since 2021. So please tell us a little bit about Elevate Uranium. And for those who are listening, this is the ticker code EL8, Echo Lima 8. Thank you, Murray.
Only been a bull since 2021. We've been bulls for a long time. Yeah, look, we've been in the uranium business, this company, since 2006. When I joined in 2012, we watched the uranium price decline all the way to $18 to $20. So we had to be bulls then. Otherwise, you just would have walked away or diversified into another commodity, like a lot of our peers did back then. So yeah, we've been dedicated to the uranium industry in terms of focused on that for a very long time. We're very positive about it, and now at least we're seeing the reconnaissance of uranium as we expected to. So we over that time, as I say, we elevate uranium in our name. So very proud of being in the uranium industry. EL8 is our ticker. We have projects in Namibia and Australia, so a couple of good jurisdictions for mining, and we've made 4 discoveries in the last 4 years in Namibia. So we're very active, probably one of the most active uranium exploration companies on the ASX. Later this month, we'll have 5 drilleries working in Namibia, drilling 125 holes per week. Right? Wow. And those holes are only 28 meters deep, roughly, costing us about $1,000 to drill each hole. So it's inexpensive exploration and successful exploration. So that's why we've sort of built from a market cap of way back where we were in the low days of the start of COVID at sort of $3 million to now at sort of $150+ million. So we really got a solid base to work off. We built up during those lean years when people were walking away from uranium. We were picking up stuff. So yeah, it's a good position to be in. That's why I'm smiling. I've got my uranium tie on.
Congratulations on all your success thus far, Murray. So thank you for that. So the next question I had for you is, can you tell us a bit about your flagship Koppies project and how it actually differs from the other projects that you've undertaken?
So Koppies was the first tenement we applied for in Namibia outside of our Marenica project we had back then. So we applied for that in 2018, got it granted in 2019, and we started exploring early that year. Right. The reason why we picked it up is because General Mining, who found Langer Heinrich, Tumas, and Oceananus, all known deposits, they'd found those and they'd decided they wanted to explore here. But then they left the country without doing it. So we looked at their old maps and went and picked this ground up, and away we go. So Koppies is a really shallow resource. All right. Initially it was in part of our channels. Now we've got a strike extension of 20 kilometres. We're about to announce a resource update later this month on it. It's the one thing I love about it. 95% of the ore is within 15 meters of surface, right? And 50% of the ore is within 6.5 meters of surface. So it's really, really shallow. So the mining operation is going to be low cost, low strip ratio. So I'm quite excited about what that brings. And when you couple that with our upgrade process, which lowers the cost base for about 50% CapEx and OpEx to process the ore, low mining costs, low operating costs, it's going to be a great project.
Thank you so much, Murray. So we know that you actually have 2 Tier-1 uranium mining jurisdictions in Australia and Namibia. So a lot of investors are actually scared of investing in companies with mines in Africa. So without fully understanding the benefits of actually buying into companies with mining deposits in Namibia. So can you tell us why for you it's such a desirable place to mine uranium?
Namibia, Africa is a huge continent, right? There's a lot of countries in Africa. Namibia, Botswana are probably 2 of the best countries to operate in. I've been going there since 2009. I looked at my passport recently, and I think I've been there well over 20 odd times. We took the family there on holidays in 2011. Kids were 9 and 10, had an absolute ball. Self-drive tour, absolute ball. The people are very friendly, lovely people. The country has a history of uranium mining. So in 1976, the Rossing uranium mine was developed and has been operating continuously for that period of time. The longest running, continuously operating uranium mine in the world. Right. So Namibia has a dedicated uranium association. So the Namibian Uranium Association are the conduit between explorers, developers, producers, and then government, stakeholders, general public. They do a fantastic job of promoting the industry. So with Rossing being there for 48 years, there's 2 generations of Namibians familiar with uranium mining. So we're not dealing with the woke Western world that are scared of something they don't know what they're scared of because someone told them they should be scared. There's nothing to be scared of. I get more radiation flying from Perth to Namibia than our workers get exploring for uranium in Namibia, right? So it's a great jurisdiction, very friendly people, very supportive government,
Yep.
and there's a history of uranium. So when you look back, there's been 3 uranium mines developed over the last since 2008, I think. 2008, 2012, 2014, 3 mines were developed. So three more mining licenses were granted recently. So it's supportive of uranium, right? And it's the 4th largest producer in the world. So I think it's a great jurisdiction to be in. And if you're worried about Africa, then look at the map of Africa and look where you should be worried and where you shouldn't be worried. And certainly down the southern part where my family have been we operate in, then I think that's a very good jurisdiction to be in.
Thank you, Murray. That is very eloquently said and helping us actually get a greater clarity into Namibia. So now let's go back to Australia. I understand that Elevate actually has portfolios in the Northern Territory and Western Australia. So how do you see these tenements playing out locally in the next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, well, Northern Territory is very supportive of uranium. Right? I've had some representatives from the government come to me during a conference recently and talk to us about some grants to do some drilling and exploration. So they're supportive. Let's not talk about Western Australia, where I live. Our government is so backward in their thought process that they don't like uranium. So the sort of West Australian ones have sort of become a hold base, but the Northern Territory ones we're exploring on. So we bought these assets in 2019, December 2019, and I think you might remember 3 months later the world went stupid.
Yeah, right? I think I heard of something called the pandemic.
Yeah, apparently we couldn't travel. We're the most isolated city in the world, and McGowan made sure that we were the most isolated city in the world. We couldn't go anywhere. So we couldn't do our projects in Northern Territory for 3 years. Even Western Australia, we couldn't go there. So it's only recently we've been able to go and do something. And what we've discovered is we've done some seismic work. We understand the Angela project more. That's a 31 million pound resource at 1,300 ppm. We want to go and drill based on some seismic results that we've got around that to see if we can expand that resource. Minerva's got 10 holes greater than 10,000 ppm in it. Drilled in 1978 when it was discovered, hasn't been drilled since. We want to go and do some diamond holes, understand the structure, and then work out how to explore it better. So, there's 2 projects in Northern Territory we want to work on. So, that'll happen later this year. We need to get our sort of drilling approvals in place. So, we're certainly going to be working on the Australian assets.
That's very comforting to know that there is vested interest also back in our homeland as well. So the next question I have is uranium as of today was sitting at approximately $92 US dollars per pound. And you've been through a lot of commodity cycles yourself where brokers actually didn't want to answer your phone calls or return them at all. But now with these prices, I'm very curious if you think this will continue to hold up and what's your long-term view on uranium prices?
You've been listening to my previous interviews, haven't you? Where I made a comment that 4 years ago I'd ring a broker and they wouldn't take my call.
Well, these are important stories. These are important stories.
And all due to the uranium price. And, brokers are really what's on hot. And what's hot at the moment, the hottest commodity on the planet, pardon the pun, is uranium. Right. So, it's risen to 92. It went to 105, 106, come back down to 92. A little bit of a pullback. I like that because you can't keep going upward trajectory without a pullback. So I don't see the uranium price dropping anywhere near the $50 a pound.
Okay.
As one of the Guy Keller from Tribeca says, don't ask me if it's going to get to $150. Ask me why it's not going to be $150. I've spoken to someone in the UK and said, don't tell me about uranium. I understand it. I love the story. We're developing we're structuring a fund. And I think uranium price is going to be $500 a pound. I went, oh, okay. So certainly a lot of pundits that I'm hearing are saying in excess of 150. I believe it's going to be 150 plus, right? It has to be because the only way to bridge the gap between demand and supply is incentivize production. How do you incentivize production? Well, the underlying commodity price has to go north. Okay. Now, we're seeing a couple of mines coming back from care and maintenance. We're seeing potential to develop, a couple of our peers in Namibia may well be developing. They've got mining license now, but it's still
Yep.
not incentivizing enough, right? You're not seeing a big rise in juniors like us. Our market cap should be a lot higher than it currently is. It's starting to sort of, it's separation between the spot price and our price has been increasing over the last 6 to 12 months. So we're expecting that we'll catch up with the spot price, and the spot price is going to keep moving north. So what does that tell you about where we're going to go? But yeah, look, I'm very confident the uranium price will be a lot higher now. It's not going to pull back to, no, well, I don't think it'll get under 80 from now on. It'll be just north of that forever.
The dark days for you are over, Murray.
That's why I'm smiling. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
you
right.
are.
It's a nice time. Having happy shareholders is very nice.
Well, I have another really nice question I need to ask you is, so you see, we know that a lot of junior miners constantly struggle for funding and they're always strapped for cash, which is often the biggest challenge, right? But as of December 2023, you actually have $15 million in the bank with no debt. Can you confirm for me that is still correct? And which means that you can be actually quite aggressive with your drilling. So I really want to know about your news flow and your future exploration and whether you still have $15 million in the bank.
Well, we don't have 15 million in the bank anymore because we paid bills in January and February. But look, we did 15.7 million in the bank at the end of December. You're right. And we're burning about 800,000 a month, right? So we've got a lot of money ahead of us in terms of, we don't have to go and raise tomorrow. So that keeps us going. And yes, we have a very aggressive drill program. I mean, 5 rigs and 125 holes a week. I mean, where will you hear anybody say that? Certainly not in this sector. So yeah, news flow coming up is the Koppies project. We've just finished our inferred drilling program, and we're planning on releasing an update on the resource later this month.
Yep.
And that phase of inferred drilling is now complete. We've commenced indicated drilling. So as you're aware, you can't announce financial metrics on a study around an inferred resource, but you can around an indicated resource. So hence, moving to indicated means that we can do some studies and announce the financial metrics. So we're going to run that indicated drill program out, and then I'm going across in April. We're collecting metallurgical test work samples. I'm a metallurgist by profession. So we're going to collect those samples and we'll run our metallurgical test work program on the upgrade process. Now, we haven't talked about the upgrade process, but it's a process we developed in-house, patented, that lowers the cost base by about 50% for capital and operating by rejecting all these gangue minerals or minerals that don't contain uranium and concentrating the mass to be leached to less than 5%. So that means you can truck this concentrate off-site to a third party if you want it, or you can leach and refine it yourself. So that lowers, and with the shallow nature of the ore, low mining cost, low operating cost for the upgrade, then we expect that we're going to have a fairly good operation. So we want to move down that path, and next year we want to do a pilot plant to prove our upgrade process, because yes, it's patented. Yes, we developed it ourselves. Yes, we're very confident about scale up, but investors haven't seen the scale up. So we want to demonstrate that in a pilot plant. So we will plan to do that. So that's the Koppies news flow continuing along. But then that's one of 12 tenements in Namibia, right? So 4 discoveries in the last 4 years. Koppies was the first. Hirabeb, Capri, we want to be drilling on those to get a maiden resource. Right, so unfortunately that'll take a while, but then the other rig will be floating around on greenfields exploration. So we're expecting that we can hopefully have some more discoveries in Namibia, and then of course we talked about the Australian assets and drilling on those. So there's news flow out of those. So yeah, taking our projects. What we're trying to do is that pyramid you see of greenfields exploration at the bottom and development at the top. We're trying to move as many projects up through that as we possibly can this year.
2024 is going to be very big for you, Murray.
It's very busy, very busy.
So I did a lot of research, as you hopefully can see, and a big thing we do look at is skin in the game for our key leaders in each of the companies we research into. So we just did our research, and can you confirm for our investors that you actually have approximately 9.8 million shares, which is approximately 3.2% of all stocks on issue? And if you can confirm that you actually truly have an alignment with Elevate and our shareholders?
You've done your homework, and you're right. It's public domain information. I can't hide what I have as a managing director. I can't hide anything as a managing director. But yes, and I don't want to hide it because I've got skin in the game for a reason. I believe this story for a very long time. Being at the helm now, 1st of May, I'll rack up 12 years with the company. We've ridden some horrible times. As you say, brokers wouldn't take our calls. We were struggling to raise money. It was really difficult to stay in the game, but we stayed in there. We stayed true to our plan. And, we're coming out of it positively. So I'm aligned to shareholders, right? I've got skin in the game. I believe the story, and I find it easy to tell the story. So, yeah, I'm proud of the fact that I've got shares in Elevate Uranium.
Thank you very much, Murray. Now, just one. So for our members are already very familiar with uranium stocks such as Boss Energy, Bannerman, and Paladin. So for our listeners and members, just wondering, are you able to tell us why they should invest in Elevate Uranium?
Well, Elevate Uranium, you should invest in us because we're the most active uranium exploration company on the ASX. 5 drillers working in Namibia, 4 discoveries in the last 4 years. So historical discoveries, right? We are, like everybody, we're leveraged the uranium price, right? All boats float in a rising tide. But we're not just sitting there waiting for the uranium price to go up. We're very, very active. So we leverage the uranium price, we're leveraged to our activities, and we've got a lot of activities. As we said before, drilling in Australia this year to add value to those projects. Drilling in Namibia, taking Koppies to the next level, doing studies on that to prove our upgrade process through a pilot plan the following year. There's a lot of benefits to why you would be with us. And Namibia is a fantastic jurisdiction, big history of uranium mining. And, it's success breeds success, and we're having success with exploration, and I think we'll continue to have success.
Thank you so much, Murray. And I wish you all the best for 2024, and I will be keeping a close eye on your ticker symbol for sure.
Thank you very much.